another matter, for 3 consecutive months, major national polls have ranked immigration as the most important problem facing our country. And this year, for the first time, a majority of Americans say they support erecting physical barriers along our southern border. So perhaps it's not a coincidence that the Democratic leader has indicated his intention to once again turn the Senate's focus to the border crisis and to portions of the bipartisan legislation Senator Langford helped produce earlier this year. But in his own remarks on the subject yesterday, my colleague from New York seemed to acknowledge what we all know: the key to securing our southern border are already in the hands that created this crisis. As the Democratic leader proudly declared, President Biden is taking action to secure our border. Last week, he said the president began announcing a series of administrative actions. Last week, Mr. President, after 3 years on the job, apparently it's time to give the Commander-in-Chief kudos on his handling of a crisis that still lets nearly 5,000 people cross our border illegally in a day. Of course, President Biden does have the authorities he needs to start rapidly undoing the damage of the historic crisis that unfolded on his watch. How do we know? Because he voluntarily took them off the table on day one. Remain in Mexico, off the table. The border wall construction, a majority of Americans support, not a chance. Any sign at all this administration would like to actually secure the border? Don't hold your breath. So, Mr. President, the path out of the deepening border crisis is actually not a mystery. It just requires a president who's willing to stop digging.